Greetings, everybody. This is DB Spitzer, and this is Welcome to Portland, a podcast. Would you like to be on the show? Well, check out Welcome to Portland, a podcast on the Facebook, and find out how to book. It's a simple process. You learn how to make a podcast, have some beer, maybe a snack, all kinds of good fun stuff. So let's start. Today we've got Dominique. We've also got Regan, and Blanca. So they're going to be talking about some stuff, and you're going to like it. Maybe you won't. That's up to you. But it's people's personal stories, and here we go. Something that happens at an airport. So let's start. You had a story that you wanted to tell, and then you told me that you had 4 stories that you wanted to tell. And I'll have you back on in the future, but what's this one story that you wanted to tell me?
The scariest day of my life, basically.
Ooh.
The story isn't bloody or gross or anything.
Sure.
Okay, so when I was in high school, I was an exchange student to Ukraine. I spent 6 months living in Kiev. My host father was the head of the Governmental Department of Secrets. That was the department that used to be the KGB when it was Soviet. And he was head of it when it was the KGB, which might have had something to do with what happened when I was coming home. When we were coming back to America, we flew through the Amsterdam airport. I was pretty young, but I still kind of had that idea in my head of Amsterdam as being pretty chill and everything. I didn't really know about the prostitutes and the weed or anything like that, but I'm like, no, Amsterdam was cool. Dutch people are cool.
Yeah.
So we're sitting at the gate and we're waiting for our plane, and we were with a counselor. And she was traveling with us because we're all 16 and 17. It was me and 2 other American girls. And we don't know what we're doing. Don't leave us alone in Amsterdam. It's just bad things are going to happen. So we're sitting there and we're kind of chatting and we're waiting for the boarding call. And this man comes up. Now, he wasn't very tall. Actually, probably only a couple inches taller than me. Immaculate black suit. Perfectly put together, white shirt. It was like, with a different head, he would have been Rod Serling. That's how like perfectly put together it was.
Gotcha.
He's got his hands behind his back. He leans over and he says something to our counselor. And she kind of, you see her brow furrow and she's like, I don't know what's going on, but okay. So she looks at us and she goes, this man's going to take you aside and talk to you. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So he looks over all 3 of us and he looks each one of us up and down. And he walks over to me first and he bows until his face is like right in front of mine, and he goes, please follow me. Now he's perfectly polite. Nothing weird about him, nothing sinister about him, which makes him all the more sinister.
Sure.
And he leads me off, and we're just out of sight of the other American students and the counselor. Just around the corner. At which point I see the 2 largest men I have ever seen in my entire life. I swear to God, they were 10 feet tall. Full fatigues, flak jacket, probably about 6 guns strapped to them, and machine guns in their hand. And sunglasses. Inside the Amsterdam airport, they have sunglasses. I'm 16 years old at this point. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And this perfectly kept man, he looks at me and he smiles. And it's what I would associate later with the Joker smile.
Okay.
Because it was wide. And it was like toothy. And his teeth were perfectly white. And he says, please give me your passport. No. No. Especially because my grandfather used to work for the government, and he's like, never, ever, ever let anybody take your passport.
Yeah.
Now, he's kind of paranoid, but like, if I don't give this guy my passport, he's gonna like tell these dudes to shoot me. And if I do give these guys my passport, he might not give it back. So like, I don't know what to do. So finally I just, okay, path of least resistance, give it to him. He gestures to this chair. Okay, please take a seat. And he positions himself perfectly between these two men with the machine guns. And I'm talking like there was half an inch of room between him and each of them. It was like somebody somewhere like arranged this visually. Like, I'm gonna stand here and you stand here, to be like the most intimidating thing ever. He's got a music stand with documents already on it. And he takes my passport and he opens it up, he sets it down. And he looks at it, and he looks at me. He looks at it, he looks at me. He's sizing me up, and I'm like, I'm 16 years old. Come on. I don't have a fake passport. And he looks dead at me, dead in the eye. How are you? Like, how do you think I am right now? I'm absolutely terrified. But I just kind of sputter out this, okay. And I see one of the guys with the machine gun lower his sunglasses and look at me over the top of him. At which point my eyes just, woo, my eyes go big. And he just launches into this series of questions. Why were you in Ukraine? How long were you there? And he has this perfectly pleasant kindergarten teacher voice. But basically, he just all these completely innocuous questions. Where in America are you going? Why are you going there? And it was probably about 20 minutes of that. Didn't ask me anything about where I'd stayed in Ukraine, any Ukraine-specific questions. Finally, he bows again and he says, thank you for your time, and he gives my passport back. And he walks me back, and then he takes another one of the girls. She's gone for 3 minutes. Comes back and he takes the other one. She's there for like a minute. And the counselor who was with us is just looking at me like, what did you do? And I'm like, I don't know what I did. What did I do? I don't know. And the thing is, like, I've discovered that is, in my head, that left such a huge mark, that is how I draw or write my evil people now. Because they're all, my evil characters, when I write, are always perfectly presented. They're always super pleasant, and they're always tiny. And I just didn't make this association until recently, because I've been in car accidents, I've broken bones, and it was just like, that was scary, but it wasn't as scary as that little man in the black suit with the big smile and the two guys with machine guns in a foreign airport, not knowing if you're gonna make it home.
Did you ever find out what that was about?
Nope. To this day, I do not know.
That is such a good story. That is really a good story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Do you have anywhere or anything out there that you wanted to plug, or anywhere people can reach you if you wanted?
I do have a blog, which is called The University of the Bizarre on WordPress. I think it's universityofthebizarre.wordpress.com, I think. Unfortunately, I can't remember the whole thing. And I also have an Etsy shop. If you go just to the etsy.com, you can search for House of Silent Graves. Make it all one word. I make monsters. My specialty are tinglers.
Definitely.
Like from the Vincent Price movie.
Very cool.
So.
Yeah, I've seen one in person, and it was awesome. I think, trying to remember who it was someone at the HBL Film Festival in
Probably
Portland.
Anya Martin.
Those things are so crazy busy that, poof.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, generally like a month after, 2 months after, it's like I find everything because I'm like so exhausted. It's just like, all right, push that to this side of the office, and then later find things and be like, oh yeah, I need to contact Derek, I need to contact Chris, oh man, I need to contact so-and-so, I need to get back in touch with this person, and then it's like, all right, 2 months later, hey, I was supposed to contact you 4 months ago.
Yep. Yep, that's how it goes.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, thanks again for being on and telling us your cool story. I look forward to having you on in the future. Glad you had some awesome lunch with us. And I want to hear more of your stories. Anything that deals with Japan or Hokkaido sounds really kind of cool.
Awesome.
And yeah. So we have that to look forward in the future, listeners. And thank you again so much, Dominique. And we look forward to hearing from you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome back to Welcome to Portland. Today we've got
Blanca.
Regan.
And you're both from Los Angeles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. And how are you enjoying Portland?
It's great. We had the most beautiful day yesterday.
And yeah, it was really nice yesterday.
Yeah.
Been up to anything fun and exciting while in Portland?
This.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is what we were
awesome.
looking forward to, and here we are blown away with our spreads and pickled veggies and
Ginger beer.
Yeah. Any big plans while in Portland?
Big plans, no. But we've got a lot of little things that we want to kind of check out and
Very cool.
see what's up.
Yeah.
Not here for weddings or
No.
graduations or anything like that?
We had to come and see what everybody's talking about.
Nice. Yeah, I generally, when people are like, oh, Portland, it's so great, I'm like, yes, I just have always been here all the time, and then I go visit places like Phoenix, I'm like, oh, that's what people are talking about. Or if
Exactly.
I get stuck in traffic driving through LA, being like, oh, that's why people make jokes about this stuff.
Yeah.
What story? Who wants to go first, and what kind of thing do you want to talk about?
we were breaking our brains yesterday on coming up with one story, but we couldn't. So I don't know. We don't have a story, I think, or a topic.
I mean, we have stories, but how we don't know how to narrow it down. I
No
think is
problem.
our
No problem.
Issue. We have tons of things to talk about because we're always talking about things, but we're not sure how to narrow that down. or
Okay,
what to talk
all right.
about,
Generally, I ask questions. Has anything weird or wacky happened to you in the last month or so? Is there? I'm not looking for like traumatic stories or this awful thing that happened to me in college stories, but
So
I mean, I know that we live a life and I know that we have stories to tell, but whenever I think of telling a story too, I also think of like looking for like a douchebag moment or like
Yeah.
something like that.
nothing that's gonna make people go. Oh. I was pulling on my collar for the listeners at home because podcasting isn't very visual.
yeah.
I'm even trying to think about because we did write some things down yesterday. We were having some beers and we were thinking about like what we wanted to talk about. We made a list.
Uh-huh.
We didn't bring the list. We didn't recap the list.
bring
And
the
I don't
list.
remember what's on the list. No, we did bring the list. She's got notebooks. She's got a notebook for
Nice.
everything that we end up doing. I got a notebook for that.
My notebook has flowers on it, and it's supposed to help me enjoy whatever's in here, but it's all work. But yeah,
To help you enjoy work.
Yeah, we talked about.
Oh, see, we went a little deep. We started talking about daddy issues
Okay.
and how there's that negative stigma of girls have daddy issues when it's typically the father's fault that the girl has daddy issues.
Sure.
But the father never gets blamed for it. Only us as girls, because
Yeah.
we're doing stupid shit, we get kind of knocked down about that.
But we were talking about how to make that funny.
Yeah, you can, because so many people so many women experience different things that they go through. Their stories are funny.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell one of mine.
I've got stories for your story podcast, but I'm not telling them.
No, but one thing that we are sort of looking for here in Portland is meeting women entrepreneurs, and mostly because I think Regan here is in that path, and I think she is an entrepreneur, and so this place seems to I'll just welcome that and have open arms for that.
Oh, sure.
Life and then lifestyle, and so we're kind of wanting to hear a little bit more from them, and we met one last night. That is amazing, and she does these big sheet metal.
She welds fabrics together to hold things for hops and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
And the fact that she's a welder, she's a woman, she knows how to sew, and she's like got a niche going there. But I do have to say, like, when we first got to the bar, I thought that she was kind of an asshole. But like, I got that vibe from her, and it was amazing how your expectation kind of turned around too, because then she's like, what are you guys up to? And then she unfolded with, I used to be a tattoo artist, I just got divorced, I'm moving out, this is my last night here, I'm sewing, one of the businesses I'm doing has to do with sewing. Like, we had so many commonalities that just kind of unfolded in the conversation that I thought was pretty incredible.
Yeah. And so we're looking for more of that. And it's just more about chatting,
Yeah.
walking around, hanging out, and that's kind of what we like to do. So
Very cool.
not necessarily, well, okay, we're also going to go see the Paul Bunyan, and we're also going to go see the world's smallest park. But yeah, aside from that, a lot of beer and then hang
Oh my
out.
gosh, I need to know about this pony situation. I tried to find a pony before I came because I wanted to take Wendy or Minnie on a tour of Portland and then leave her tied up somewhere. But I haven't seen that anywhere, and I know it was in 2005. But I would still like to be a part of that. I never found Wendy, and we're still looking for Wendy, basically. But
Okay.
is that still a thing? Like, do people still do that?
I don't know.
So clearly no.
The closest thing I know of nowadays is people scouring secondhand stores and toy stores and whatnot, and their own collections to find toy horses to tie up to the little rings that are still in the concrete from
Yes.
the
Yes.
yeah.
That's what we want to do.
Oh yeah, no.
So that's still a thing.
That's been a thing since I was a kid.
But we have to find Wendy first.
Sure.
That we've already named a horse that we don't have.
Gotcha.
Because she has to have a name.
Yeah, so that's our,
But I think it's interesting too, like, we're here, you're asking us our story, but when we're talking to people, we're always asking them their story.
Sure.
So now we're on the flip side, like, what's our story? And it's kind of like, and I'm also wondering, is this how other people feel when we're asking them? Like, what's up with you? Like, you're on the spot kind of thing. But it's sharing is caring.
Yeah, this is all about interaction, and that's one great thing that's about Portland is there's a lot of interaction. That's also, since there's so many people out there, such as myself, in this gig economy, you have to be interactive. You have to communicate. You just can't be a shut-in and try and communicate with Facebook. You have to get out there and beat feet on the street and make it happen.
Right, because you can different experiences are. I mean, so I've never done Airbnb. This is
Sure.
my first time doing Airbnb.
Cool.
So I have certain things that I like that I look for when I'm gonna stay somewhere, and I went through a checklist of things in this Airbnb. Then we're looking at experiences, and
Sure.
then we found this other woman that does like a walking thing for women thing. We weren't able to connect, but then we're here having this, and a podcast is something she's very interested in. And it's something that I'm like, why not? But we didn't expect to have the grandiose experience that we're having right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you just walked us through the fact that you grow your own vegetables, you make your own
pickling.
you pickle stuff, you make bread from yeast from the beer that you make. Like, that's an eclectic thing to do, and people don't live that life in many places.
And
except
for
Portland.
me, it's like, I don't realize that until I go somewhere like Minnesota and go, oh, okay. And then realize how lucky I am to have grown up and spent a lot of time in the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, now when people are like, oh, don't let those other people find out about it, it's like, more people that know, the more it grows. And, you know, it's like people learn, you know, like steel sharpens steel, that kind of thing.
So
But-
you're down with the growth in Portland.
Of course. I grew up in Portland, and I remember when Portland had almost no economy, and the unemployment was insane.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people become cooks in Portland so that they have jobs all the time, because it's like, well, I want to be an artist. Well, so does everyone else who lives in Portland. And you have like culinary schools and art schools, and they just churn out all these people that are like, well, I want to live in Portland, and then they get disgruntled because the fact that they've been living in Portland, you know, people will move to Portland being like, I'm going to grow my own vegetables, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And then they look back at 5 years and go to, like, this one lady showed up my friend's Airbnb thing, and I was there because she was like, I don't want to be there with this lady by myself. And I'm like, no problem, I'll show up. And she, you know, she just didn't want to be.
Goes both ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
And you know, I tell people, hey, if you don't want to hang out in some guy's basement by yourself, bring a friend, and I won't charge you. You know, safety in numbers. I listen to My Favorite Murder. I don't know. Anyway, but. You know, you have people who are like, I want to move to Portland and I want to do all this stuff, and then years later they're like, I never did all that stuff I wanted to do. And it's like, well, we don't want those people. We want the people who want to do stuff, people who want to contribute, and, you know, it's great if people just want to come to Portland and buy stuff. We need the money.
Because that's how you keep something good, too. Because if you wear yourself out and you're not able to produce anything in your own personal life, you're not going to produce business-wise.
Sure.
And if you don't cut that boundary off, and if you self-sacrifice yourself to your business, it won't thrive, I don't think.
How do you think people do it here in Portland? That me time.
Oh, like a lot of people I know,
Is there such a thing?
more or less kind of like it's all about like going after the hustle, but something about Portland, and you might notice this, Portlanders really know how to just like relax and be like, I don't feel like doing anything this week. Next week I'm gonna work double hard, but this week I'm just gonna hang out and grill with my friends and goof off. Or maybe that's my life model, I'm not sure.
I kind of like that. I just can't catch up. I keep doing it every other day. Because, you know, when we were talking to our lady last night, because I forgot her name, but she was working, but she really was just talking to us.
Sure,
So
yeah.
was supposed to be working, and she kind of kept turning around. I was like, I think I'm supposed to be working, but and I like that, but I know that if I was a worker, I'd be like, oh, you need to start working. What the heck?
Yeah, and a lot of people in Portland, they do what they want to do. Uh-oh, what's up? What's outside?
Bluebird.
Oh, yeah.
You have a lot of bluebirds.
Oh, yeah.
What is
yeah.
that one?
I think it's a blue jay or
A blue
yeah.
jay.
But yeah, no, a lot of people I know, there's like, I like cooking. I'm gonna cook for a living, and I'm only gonna work at places that'll let me wear my hair and piercings and tattoos and listen to the music that I want to listen to. Yeah, I won't make a huge amount of money, but I get to listen to metal all day and make pizza, and my boss doesn't care if I'm high.
See, but that to me is the American dream, if you will.
Sure.
To be able to live your life the way that you want to and enjoy it, plus, you know, be able to pay your rent or, you know, thrive in another
Definitely.
way. Finding that balance, I think, is success.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what about what do you think about contributing to society or contributing back? Giving
I think that you can contribute in a lot of different ways. You don't have to have like a set, this is the charity that I'm going to give to, or this is the whatever. It's walking down the street and seeing somebody and saying hi. It's
Because
if somebody falls, saying, are you okay, and helping them.
Because wouldn't that sort of be also seen as, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, but as a selfish to do the pizza and just I get to listen to metal all day long.
Well, I mean,
that scenario sort of.
That's one person's, I mean, what?
opinion.
They're not necessarily contributing to society, but they're contributing to people's enjoyment, which then those people who contribute to society aren't all stressed out and, ugh, I hate contributing to society. I wish I could just go and make pizza and get high all day.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes those people do. And then sometimes the people who get high all day go, I'm tired of getting high all day and making pizza. I should probably contribute to society.
Yeah.
But I also think that
It's a great.
everybody gets to do what they want to do in their time. Like,
Oh, yeah.
for that reason alone. They are making music that somebody else gets to enjoy, and it is them doing what they want to do, and they're contributing to society. And the fact that they're not carjacking, they're not murdering, they're not causing harm to anybody else.
Maybe.
True, just because they're making pizza and making music doesn't mean they're not murdering people too. Like, there is that thing too, but I mean, we are in a basement right now with a total stranger. I'm enjoying this beer. Like, her and I had a conversation at lunch yesterday. She really likes beers. She's a beer aficionado. I am a let me twist that off or pop that open kind of thing. And the dark thing is not my thing. But I will say today, like I told her yesterday, she She ordered a beer that wasn't quite this dark, but a little bit darker. But I have this, my palate of some beers is, it tastes like cat piss on a Christmas tree. And for her, she loves that flavor. That's not my flavor, but I have to say.
I don't like cat piss on a Christmas tree,
But that's what it tastes like. But this doesn't have it, is my point.
Sorry.
So this beer is really good.
Oh, definitely.
it's called an IPA.
It's cat piss on a Christmas tree.
But yeah, no, and I love that description because yes, I do smell it, and it's good. And ginger, I don't usually do gingers, but beer, but it's really really good.
It's very good.
Yeah, it started out as 2 separate beers. I brewed a super, super dry, crisp ginger ale that was like really, really, really high alcohol. And it was like, okay, this can be exceedingly dangerous because it's high alcohol, but the ginger covers it. And then I had this black Polish rye that I made. And it was nice, it was very sweet, but it didn't have a lot of alcohol. And then I was like, I wonder what happens if I mix the two. And I'm like, oh, this is like a ginger snap. Okay, cool. I'm just mixing the two.
Good.
It's about 4.5.
Oh, okay. And what was the original ginger beer?
About 7.8. So we're coming to the end of the episode. I would like to thank Regan and Blanca from Los Angeles for coming in and talking and just being cool, and welcome to Portland.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Love it.
Hey, so that was the first episode. I hope you liked it. And if you want to hear more fun stories, if you want to be on the show, check us out on Facebook. And you can always donate to the show to keep the lights on and go to pgttcm.com and hit the Patreon button, or go to paypal.me/pgttcm, paypal.me/pgttcm. We've also got t-shirts at threadless.com, pgttcm.threadless.com. We don't have any Portland shirts yet, but that'll change. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. And maybe you'll have a great Portland story, or just welcome to Portland. Tell me a story. All right. See you then, and thanks and goodbye.